everybody, and welcome to this special on Mars going out of bounds. So I'm going to talk about it from all angles, and remember, all my astrology is based on Vedic constellational astrology, and all times are GMT times. I'm a Mani, I'm a karmic, holistic, astrological life coach, and I like to go in depth in all that I do, and all of my interpretations, especially when it comes to Venus, Mercury, Sun transits and everything really, are based on Vedic astrology, which is based on where the planets or the luminaries, which are the Sun and the Moon, are any given time in the sky, and all times are in GMT time as well. So yeah, thanks for listening. And yeah, so this year Mars went into Cancer on the 20th of October, and then Mars went retrograde on the 6th of December, and Mars enters out of bounds on the 31st of December. Whilst retrograde and still in Cancer, it goes through a few transitions which I will record separately, but Mars is actually staying out of bounds until the 7th of April 2025, and whilst it's in Cancer still, and then on the 6th of June it enters Leo. So now I'm going to talk about the overall positives, and as I said, I'm going to look at it from all angles, but this is going to be after. So if you just want the short version, keep tuned guys. If you want the longer version, listen on after this, and I'll look at Mars out of bounds, how it affects us on the karmic level, affects our relationships, hookups, committed, self-partnered, work relationships and stuff like that. A real good deep dive. But first I'm just going to talk about the positive and the negative meanings and the overall best use of Mars retrograde whilst out of bounds in Cancer. So positively, the out of bounds energy allows us to face and work through deep-seated emotional issues. It allows us to self-reflect and gain understanding of our inner motivations. Like, a lot of the times our behaviours are driven by our unresolved or unmanaged psychological, emotional, spiritual trauma. So unprocessed heartbreaks, setbacks, losses, end of friendships, not getting that job, regrets over not choosing that career, or being creative and stuff like that. So really getting deep into yourself and asking yourself, your inner motivations. What do you want from life? What's stopping you from getting what you want from life, and things like that. It allows us to focus on our home, our family, and our personal security matters. So this could be security, home security, burglar alarms and all that jazz, or our inner security, what our home means to us, inside of us. Like I said, our subconscious mind and our thoughts, and we can just feel kind of emotionally kind of driven right now. It allows us to be more intuitive on the positive, and we can just trust our gut feelings more, make emotionally and spiritually and psychological intelligent decisions. It allows us to have more strength about our ability to overcome our past and change our life about, and get outside of our comfort zones and sort of like make the life that we really want to make for ourselves as well. So it allows us to be more assertive, and we can just be more protective with ourselves and others as well. But negatively, it can make us more moody. We can be more emotional, unstable and irritable. This can lead to behaviours, lots of passive aggressive thoughts, words and actions, indirect expressions of anger or frustration. It's best to try and be clear, say things directly rather than passive aggressiveness, because this can lead to damaging our relationships and stuff like that as well. We can also have more conflict within ourselves and in our families and our romantic relationships and all types of relationships as well. Indecisiveness can make it difficult for us to take a direction and make a decision. We can be oversensitive, and this can lead to overreactions, or just thinking that we've done things wrong, or sort of like just feeling like criticised by others. We can feel emotionally exhausted right now, and the intensity of these feelings can be draining. So the best use of this energy is to focus on inner work. As I said, use this time for emotional understanding, forgiveness, healing, love and self-care, healthy self-care practices, not overindulging in food and alcohol and drugs and excessive hookups, but self-care that really looks after your mind, body and soul and makes you feel nurtured in healthy ways, you know. Also allows us to heal our relationships and, you know, focus on addressing, confronting long-standing issues in our family relationships or intimate or business relationships, you know. Also, it's a good energy to improve your living space, your bedroom, you know, to sort out your car, your office, you know, just to make sure your environment is the way you want it, you know. As we move into the new year, it allows us to develop more emotional intelligence and work on understanding and managing our emotions better. It's a good energy to reassess our goals and to revise our professional goals as well as all types of goals, our eating goals, our working on our shadow and healing the inner child and inner work and all of that. Just really getting strategic about every area of your life. I'm going to be doing this myself and just breaking everything down on a day-to-day level that you will have to do to meet your long-term goal. So you may have a long-term goal of, you know, completing a course, but you've got a career where you've got a job, you've got to pay bills, you've got, you know, other responsibilities. Every day you have to structure your routine, which may mean going to bed at a set time every day, waking up at a set time on most days, you know, to help you bring your long-term goals of completing that course into reality. Sometimes we have these long-term goals, but because we don't change our daily habits, then we never reach them. So this energy allows us to reassess our goals, make a plan, think about how we use or misuse our motivational energy, our sexual energy, our creation energy, you know, because Mars energy is like our motivation drives, all drives from our sex to our exercise to our psychological drives, because without the motivation to do something, you know, without our Mars, we may think with our Gemini, you know, with our Mercury, but without the Mars and then the Saturn to follow through and to build in that discipline as well, we cannot reach our goals. So it also allows us to express ourselves creatively and for us to be able to be more patient with ourselves and others and stay more calmed and centered through our emotional turbulence and through our new routines we've got to set to get outside of our comfort zone and reach our long-term goals, right? So because this energy allows us to trust and develop our intuitive insights, we can just learn to trust ourselves more, understand our emotions more, understand our psychological states more, be more gentle with ourselves and others and just more empathetic, and to channel our energy, our motivation in the right directions. So forget the years before, you know, 2024 is gone, 2025, make it your year. And, you know, the out of bound aspect really allows us to be more intense and more focused on the things that we want to achieve as well and manage our behavior. We can have highly unusual or innovative approaches to our emotional and domestic matters right now, but it also increases the risk of erratic or extreme behavior, you know, extreme passive aggressiveness or direct overt aggressiveness, you know. So the key to using this out of bound energy in the best way, you know, productively, is to use it for deep personal growth and emotional breakthroughs. So starting that healthy eating plan, starting that exercise plan, changing your bedtime, giving up excessive drink, alcohol and everything else that's toxic to you in excessive. You don't need to give it up completely. Some of you may have to do that, you know, you have to be the gauge of that, but this energy of Mars out of bounds really supports us over like a good solid 4-month period to really work on, you know, so right up until April, the things we want to change in our life as well. So it provides us with emotional courage to go beyond our normal limits. It allows us to heal our trauma, especially our generational, ancestral, family trauma, you know. It allows us to, it can feel like our intuitive intelligence, you know, we can be more in tune with ourselves and others, you know, and we can just really go deep within ourselves and have more emotional, spiritual and psychological resilience right now, feeling superhuman. But we just have to watch out for, you know, the emotional tsunamis, you know, the moodiness, and things can get intense right now, really intense. So just watch out for that. So instead of causing arguments, overstepping other people's boundaries, allowing others to overstep your boundaries, use this for your personal transformation, as it really allows us to shatter our emotional comfort zones, and our comfort zones in general, but particularly our emotional ones. It allows us to really work through our psychological, spiritual and emotional traumas and reprogram our emotional responses, the thoughts in our mind that drive our behaviours. It allows us to transform our pain and suffering and our chaos and comfort into radical wisdom and new habits. It allows us to just get in touch with ourselves and others. So it's good throughout these 4 months to do daily meditation, to journal your thoughts, do energy clearing rituals, to practice radical self-compassion, and to create boundaries and respect other people's boundaries as well, and to develop intuitive self-protection mechanisms, but not ones that are defensive, but ones that protect you from accepting, abuse from others and abuse from yourself as well. So some questions you can ask right now are: what emotional patterns am I ready to let go of? How can I turn my sensitivity into my greatest strength? Asking yourself, are you brave enough to feel everything? Let go of your past, to forgive yourself, to come to understand yourself. And although things can be chaotic right now, the best thing you can do is try and work around and embrace the chaos, trust in your inner wisdom, dance with your emotions and laugh in the face of emotional intensity. And the affirmation of this period is, I am a powerful emotional alchemist, transforming pain into pure cosmic magic, self-love and acceptance. So ultimately, when Mars is out of balance, it allows you to rewrite your emotional DNA, and it can really, really give us like an emotional revolution. So on the cosmic mic drop, our emotions right now can provide powerful healing, and we should, use our emotions with love, courage and radical authenticity. So now I'm going to talk more about the holistic astrological meanings and the practical, collective, political and spiritual meanings. So really going deep into all the different layers, and also explain more what out of bounds means and all the rest of it. So listen on if you want to go deeper. So in astrology, being out of bounds means that a planet goes beyond its typical declination, so beyond 23.5, and this can just make the energy of the planets be more unpredictable and more intense. So in astrology, Mars symbolizes energy, motivation, and all our drives, our creative drives, our action drives, our exercise drives, our sexual drives, and aggression and determination. And it's associated with how we assert ourselves, how we go after our goals, and how we sort of handle conflicts. So when Mars is out of bounds, it takes on a dynamic and unconventional sort of motivational creation sort of energy. So holistically, it's a time when we can assert ourselves in unpredictable ways, and our motivational drives may be unpredictable as well, as we feel kind of compelled, pushed to break free. We're I'm tired of this crap, I'm just breaking free from routine and restrictions, and we just want to be more adventurous, but we just need to watch out for being too impulsive and doing things like quitting our jobs or spending all of our rent money on one item of clothing and stuff like that. So practically, Mars out of bounds allows us to take more risks, go after new opportunities that are, usually outside of our comfort zone. So, it's really good for pushing boundaries, challenging ourselves to achieve our personal goals or our professional sort of growth. Political leaders can take more sort of bold and unconventional actions that sort of go against norms and traditions. Negatively, this can lead to power struggles, conflicts. So, for example, a political leader may decide to start, initiate or restart controversial policies, or engage in aggressive sort of diplomatic strategies. On the esoteric spiritual spiritual sort of like level, it can bring intense energy that we should channel towards deep inner transformation or a spiritual awakening, starting or continuing shadow and inner work, really getting to the bottom, being more passionate, and we may explore our desires on a more deeper level, and we may seek to connect more with our inner fire, our inner motivation, our dreams and purpose. It invites us to embrace our inner warrior and go to the depths of our psyche and to confront and overcome any obstacles that we sort of like find there. It's a time for courage, taking decisive action and aligning with our higher selves to sort of like achieve spiritual evolution from a personal and psychological level. It can just sort of like make us more restless, as I said, as we want more freedom and independence. We may take more impulsive risks, and like I said, some of you may suddenly quit your job, end a relationship, start a passion project, or make spontaneous travel plans. On the social collective level, it can bring more conflict to our relationships. I'm going to talk about how it affects all types of relationships a bit later on, but yeah, it can just make us all kind of full of tension. People may feel more confrontational and aggressive, and this can lead to disagreements and power struggles. There could be a rise in protests or heated debates within our communities due to the increase in energy levels and assertiveness. Symbolically, when Mars goes out of bounds, it just symbolises breaking free from constraints or that's holding us back, especially our toxic thought patterns, and our self-destructive behaviours. It wants us to challenge our existing routines and, wants us to sort of like do our own thing instead of following others, Artists can create rebellious or unconventional pieces, or if you're a poet or any kind of creator, you may be like, forget it, I'm not following the technicalities of music, I'm going to come up with my own sort of like way of expressing myself through music. Emotionally, it can make us feel more intense. We may feel more angry, we may feel more desire and motivation. Motivation is good. This is good for motivation. I say use this energy, especially, to do the things that you've been putting off, going after your goals with kind of unwavering, being firm, being determined, and we can just kind of like also feel ourselves like standing up for others, especially those who are vulnerable, and especially standing up for ourselves if other people overstep our boundaries. So this is just a really nice energy to sort of like stand your ground and be true to yourself. So now I'm going to talk about the positive and negatives and the best use. So positively, it wants us to be flexible in the way that we approach challenges and our relationships and our routines. It wants us to be more innovative and have more of a sense of adventure, try new things, explore unconventional ideas, think outside of the box, coming up with new solutions or being open to new solutions for old problems, and just to, initiate changes, stepping out of your fear and daring to be who you really are. But negatively, it can make us more restless, more reckless and impulsive. We may find ourselves kind of scattered in our energy, finding it challenging to focus on one task for extended period of time. So it's essential to be mindful of rushing into decisions without considering the consequences carefully. The best way to use this energy is to, be curious, be adaptable, maintain a sense of self-discipline and be more strategic in your thinking. So some of you may decide to use this time to experiment with different approaches to solving the problems in your work or personal life. As I said, just allowing yourself the freedom to explore new possibilities, being open, doing your research, being focused, keeping a clear goal in your mind and keeping a cool, level head. And because we can be sort of like firm in our convictions, it's important to balance, the need to be spontaneous, to be trying new things with, self-discipline and control. and this is the best use of this energy, because if we just be impulsive, we can waste this energy, so it's very important to try, even though this can make us behave erratic, to try and just chill out a bit and to think before you rush ahead, but also be open to taking those risks and be grounded in your actions, but also just be open-minded right now as well. So now I'm going to talk about the aspects that Mars makes when it's retrograde and enters out of balance in Cancer. So the first aspect it makes is a sextile square to Mercury at 1.23 degrees separating. So it allows for increased mental energy, which we can use for problem solving. It allows for passionate communication and for quicker thinking in emotional situations. But negatively, it can make us impulsive in speech, argumentative. We can have difficulty expressing our emotions clearly. It can add to the mental restlessness and us being passive aggressive and irritable, So it can just add to the heated discussions about our family and home matters, but it can also give us the extra energy to work through the problems, especially our emotional issues. So this is really good, but we still have to watch out for the extra conflicts that it can sort of cause. Mars also makes a sextile square to Saturn, so this is applying. So positively, it gives us that discipline to overcome emotional obstacles and allows us to be focused on, our personal development and using our motivation, energy in the right way, and our domestic, our home life, our relationships, especially the relationship we need to be having with ourselves. It can strengthen our emotional boundaries, but negatively, we can feel frustrated with the limitations right now, responsibilities, getting outside of our comfort zone. We all want to do that, right? But it can be really hard to get outside of our comfort zone, and try new things and do new things, especially when we've been, just used to, self-destructiveness. So, we just have to make sure that you make a plan and you stick to it, and remember that failures, many will come, you keep on failing, but, if you keep on working towards your success, getting up after each failure, you will get there. It can also add to us feeling emotionally restricted or blocked, and it can add to the conflict between our emotional, psychological and spiritual needs right now and the practical demands of family life and intimate life and our work and career and other responsibilities as well. But it wants us to really, add structure and routine and take personal responsibility for our lives right now and our emotional expression. And it wants us to find a balance between our emotional needs and practical considerations, Also, Mars makes a trine to Neptune. This is 5 degrees applying. So this allows us to have more emotional sensitivity and intuition, compassion and empathy for ourselves and others. So this is really good. It's a good energy to help us nurture ourselves, but negatively it can add to confusion and the lack of direction and us misusing our motivational energy, doing things that are not really good for our psychological, emotional and spiritual health. It can add to the emotional manipulation and self-deception, especially in terms of passive aggressiveness and avoidance and using stimulants or distractions to avoid our responsibilities. And also it just adds to us not being able to assert our boundaries as well. So we just have to make sure we don't let others walk all over us, and we don't walk all over others and take advantage of their vulnerabilities or allow others to take advantage of our vulnerability. And sometimes we don't know we're vulnerable, so really getting real with yourself about your needs, your emotional needs and your needs for psychological and spiritual and emotional healing, or just your needs for having a secure home or whatever it is you're working on, But ultimately these aspects want us to find a balance between using our intuition and taking practical action. The best use of this energy is to journal, to have mindful communication, to process our complex emotions, to set clear but compassionate boundaries, to sort of engage in intuitive or spiritual practices and use them to guide our actions, and balance nurturing nurturing our activities with practical responsibilities. So yeah. Also, as Mars goes out of bounds, and these energies are going to affect the whole 4 months Mars is out of bounds, so the aspects I've just mentioned and this T-square I'm about to mention, which involves Mercury in Scorpio, Saturn in Aquarius and Jupiter in Taurus within a 13% orb. So Mercury in Scorpio allows us to communicate with intensity, but this can lead to us having, aggressive conversations, so we just need to watch out for that as well. It also adds the energy to gives us the ability to have healing conversations with ourselves, with our family, with our friends, and to work on our emotional security as well. But it can bring tension between personal needs and, our collective responsibilities. So Saturn in Aquarius allows us to sort of like being structured in our socializing right now, but Jupiter in Taurus emphasizes our personal values and resources, and this tension can create internal conflicts because it can be hard to navigate, meet the needs of our personal emotional needs and our social kind of obligations right now. So our obligations to our friends and families and stuff like that can be in conflict with each other. Do I meet my need for self-care, or do I meet the demands of like my work and career and my intimate partner right now? It can be really hard to juggle all of this because of this T-square. So be gentle with yourself and try and find new and unconventional ways of expressing your emotions and addressing and dealing any domestic or other issues that come up right now. And this can lead to a breakthrough in your understanding and managing your emotions and understanding other people's emotions and managing them as well. We have to sort of like balance stability and change right now, and this T-square allows us to sort of like find that change that we need and sort of like be open. But it can also again make it hard for us to sort of like meet the needs of our emotional security, our comfort zone, and also the push for making the necessary changes in our life can also be in conflict once again with each other. So we really need to navigate this tension while Mars is out of bounds for 4 months. Also, it allows us to take a more analytical approach to our emotions because of Saturn in Aquarius and Mercury in Scorpio as well, giving us that fixed energy, even though we can be more intense in our communication as well. But this energy also helps us balance the intense feelings associated with Mars being in Cancer, and just to be more strategic in our thinking rather than just acting on our emotions. This energy allows us to take time out and to think before we act or react, but it can also lead to us feeling emotionally overwhelmed and having a difficulty in processing our feelings, and this adds to the mood swings and emotional sort of like outbursts. But again, it adds to the opportunities for growth and self-understanding, and it wants us to reassess because Mars is in retrograde, right, for a long while. It wants us to reassess our emotional patterns, our family dynamics, how we meet our emotional needs, how we look after our home, especially our inner home as well. And it can just help us to heal our family relationships as well. And it just reminds us once again of the need for emotional boundaries. This T-square really wants us to, find the balance between honouring our emotional needs and, sort of like, meeting the needs of our family and careers and all the rest of it as well. So yeah, that's the end of the analysis of the aspects. Okay, so now I'm going to talk about the karmic meanings and lessons and the type of past life sort of like memories that can come up when Mars is out of bounds. So Mars represents our energy and passion and how we put ourselves out there in the world, and on the karmic level we may find ourselves facing situations that mirror unresolved issues from our past lives. So where we may have had past lives where we were too aggressive, or we didn't use our aggressive energy sort of like correctly, or we avoided conflict or caused conflict, or we pent up our emotions, and we didn't release them, we hid away from them. and this wants us to address our aggression, our conflict, issues of conflict, if we people please and stuff like that, and to sort of like deal with our emotions head on rather than running away from them. So we can find ourselves sort of like confronted with issues that demand our attention and needs us to kind of like navigate our own and other people's emotions and people pleasing ways and aggression. In terms of past life memories, unresolved issues around the ways we don't assert ourselves, or why we don't stick up for other people, why we take advantage of those who are vulnerable as well. We can notice a pattern of explosive anger, or excessive need for power, or struggles with asserting our own, independence on our mind. So yeah, the karmic meanings and lessons are wanting us to sort of like channel our energy, so our motivational drives, our physical drives, our exercise drive, our sexual drives, and use them more productively, so that they enhance our lives and help us to focus on our life goals rather than distract us from reaching our life goals. And it wants us to overcome destructive behavioural patterns and just to think constructively. And if you're open to, stop and think before you react and say things, and sort of like just reflect on your journey, on your life goals. Are your daily habits, are your daily thoughts in line with you reaching your goals? A lot of the time we say that we want the best life, but we do self-destructive behaviours and allow toxic thoughts to run around our minds all day. So maybe seeking out, self-help, maybe listening to some motivational speakers, find the right ones for you. I like James Allen. A lot of these older texts, I will say, they kind of talk from a male perspective, but if we can get past that, there's a lot of wisdom in the teachings of, say, Manly P. Hall, Dorothea Brand, Louise Hay and stuff like that, Bruce Lipton, Wayne Dyer, Dada Yankee, so just looking out for positive speakers, inspirational people that can help you towards your healing and growth. Also, some of you may have dreams where you may recall being warriors or fighters in your past lives, and this can lead to a strong sense of competitiveness and a desire for victory in your current life, or you may sort of channel your inner warrior, as I said earlier. Others of you may remember lifetimes or instances in this life where you misuse your power or authority. So, just looking at any imbalances, do you let people walk over you? Do you walk over other people? Why do you do that? Often, many times, we can numb ourselves and become cold because many people took advantage of our good nature. So we become cold. So just getting down to the root of your sort of power dominance or power imbalance issues, because it can go two ways. If when you was younger at a stage of your life, people sort of abused you or made you feel less than, then you can become timid, overly timid, and not use your power. So this energy just reminds us to use our power on the karmic level and to deal with the issues that stop us from using our power, or the issues that cause us to abuse our power as well. Or looking at the ways on why you self-sabotage, why you don't use your motivational energy, or why you may use it to focus on one area of your life, like you may just use it to exercise 24/7, but this can mean that you don't have healthy relationships, or it's placing a strain on your relationship. So just getting to the root causes of any imbalances in your life right now, and by doing so you can break free from the occurring patterns and move towards a more balanced approach to your life and more spiritual enlightenment and growth. And it's important to have compassion right now for yourself if you uncover any difficult things, and just have a willingness to confront the underlying issues that any past life memories or dreams or nightmares or any current life situations bring to your attention on the things that you need to change or address. And by addressing and recognizing your unresolved emotions, your psychological wounds and unresolved trauma. You can release yourself from the cycle of negative patterns and transform them into opportunities for healing and change. And just remember that each challenge that comes our way presents a chance for growth and evolution on your soul's journey towards a higher level of consciousness. Okay, so now I'm going to talk about how family, friendship, co-worker relationships and committed and hookup and single and self-partnered relationships are affected when Mars is out of bounds. So in terms of family relationships, we can sort of have more tensions in them because of our aggression and impulsiveness, but positively we can have a renewed sense of passion and energy within our family dynamics, and this can lead to more productive discussions and activities, game nights, making dinner, going out for dinner, ordering in dinner, whatever. But negatively, because conflicts can come up, because our assertiveness can turn into aggressiveness, we can make peace and then someone can say a silly comment and then everything can go to crap again. So just be mindful of how you come across. As I said, stand up for yourself, but respect other people's right to do so as well. Try and listen to each other, create an active, safe listening space in family dynamics. Try to meet everyone's needs, because sometimes we have to, make compromises in relationships, especially if we want them to be healthy, In terms of friendships, it can make us more excited and spontaneous in them. We can want to do more fun things together in our friendship groups, try new activities and deepen our bonds through shared adventures and experiences. But negatively, because of ego clashes, because everybody can be like, I am the boss right now, or acting a bit bougie and all of that, or just, it's my way or the highway, and egos can clash because of impulsive decisions and reactions and actions as well. So just make sure you consider the other people's feelings in your friendships and just try again to compromise. In terms of co-worker relationships, it can make us feel more motivated and have more of a drive for success and meeting individual and team targets as well. So it's great for teamwork, but negatively, power struggles can get in the way and arguments can come up over, I'm the boss. No, I'm the boss. No, I am actually your boss, so you have to obey my authority kind of scenario for these who are kind of like friends with your boss, and then your boss is like trumps you and be like, actually, you have to listen to me. So just try and respect authority, but assert yourself as well. And if you are the boss, try and be gentle with your co-workers right now, or your employees as well. And we just have to watch out for intense competition, because people can just be like, I want their promotion, or I want that bonus, or I don't care about your needs, and this can add to the strain and conflict and tension and aggression in the workplace. So it's best to try and go for that promotion without stepping on other people's toes, or just try and be humble about it. If you win a bonus over your other teammates and stuff, because showing off and being bossy right now can cause trouble. So in terms of committed relationships, it can bring more passion and sparks to our lovers in our love making as well. We can be more adventurous in and out of the bedroom and spontaneous and open to creating more memorable experiences together. So great for kind of having date nights that something you've never done before. If you always stay in, if you always go bowling or the cinema, go for a walk, watch the stars, write some poetry. This is the time to do something out of bounds, try different positions, try, a bit of foreplay or a bit of dinner before going straight into the love making and all of that. But negatively, disagreements can get out of hand and heated, and impulsive actions and words can cause misunderstandings and temporary separations at the worst case scenario end, and singles, we can feel more confident and assertive, and we can, appear more attractive to others if we're confident within ourselves, going after what we want, and we can just be more proactive, downloading dating apps, even if we remove them several times. I've been there, I understand, but I believe, if we keep on searching or being open, it's when we lock ourselves away. Sometimes, we need to lock ourselves away to do the shadow and inner work, and especially if we keep on having toxic relationships, to get to the bottom of the ways that we are toxic in the relationships, or why we keep on, accepting toxic people into our lives, So, this energy can make us more passionate, and this can lead to passionate encounters, and hookups and stuff, but negatively coming on too strong, putting the cart before the horse, so to speak, and being too eager, even though I do believe in a proactive approach, but balance it with being a bit chilled out, because if we come on too strong, people can see us as aggressive, and this may, put potential partners off, so be confident and assertive, but make sure you don't be too scary, In terms of those who are self-partnered, this is a great energy to prioritize your self-love and personal growth, and to, reflect on, your self-partnership. If you are single in your self-partnership, maybe putting yourself out there as well. It can make you feel more assertive and also independent, and, wanting to go after your goals and dreams. It can lead to breakthroughs in self-awareness and empowerment as boundaries are pushed, and you're just, open to exploring new ways of doing things and new paths, or revisiting old paths, because sometimes it's about timing. But negatively, because internal conflicts can come up, it can be hard for you to navigate, understand your own desire and ambitions right now, and this can lead to uncertainty and self-doubt. So it's just important to give yourself the time, do your research, and to just make a strategic plan, and engage in some self-care, and try not to be too overwhelmed. And if you feel overwhelmed, do some self-care techniques that can help you, just find that internal balance again. So now I'm going to talk about how Mars out of bounds can affect our career, our personal, spiritual, educational and self-partner development. So in terms of career, it can allow us to make quick decisions and assert ourselves more confidently at work and take bold initiatives. It can make us feel inspired to pitch a new project or take a leadership role. Negatively, we can neglect our responsibilities in the workplace, especially in teamwork. Our teamwork partners may not hit their targets, so they may put the pressure on you, not pull their weight, not do their share. Or we can just become too focused on our own goals and ambitions, forgetting, the team that we're in, and this can cause tension with our colleagues. So prioritize your own goals and ambitions, but make sure you meet your obligations as well, to avoid sort of like power struggles and office politics and all of that. So in terms of personal development, it can push us past our comfort zone, and we may find ourselves more willing to take risks, as I said earlier, confront challenges head on and embrace change. Some of you may decide to travel solo, move out of your parents' home, or end a relationship, or start a side hustle. And remember, it's never too late. Even if there's a million other people doing what you want to do, if you try, first of all, research and keep on trying. Consistency, a lot of the time you can give up. So this energy is allowing you to push yourself out of your comfort zone and to start new things. and, to challenge yourself, and to just be open to newness. But negatively, it can make us reckless in our decision making, as I said, because we can be more impulsive, and this can lead to hasty sort of like actions and decisions that don't align with your long-term personal development goals. So it's very important that you don't let short-term pleasure, short-term gratification get in the way of your longer lifelong goals, or, your monthly goal of being able to pay your rent. As I said, don't waste all your money on one item when you need it to sort of like spread across 10 to 15 items, So yeah, make sure you don't take unnecessary risks, overspend or be too impulsive, as this can just lead to inattention, as you may love it in a moment. Yeah, I've got this new thing, but the day after you're like, oh, we're going to pay my rent sort of thing. So, balance is key. In terms of spiritual development, it wants us to be more determined in our spiritual practices, have more passion. We can feel more intense in our meditation sessions. It wants us to seek out new spiritual teachings that resonate with us. But negatively, in terms of spiritual development, we can become more impatient or aggressive as in our approach to seeking out enlightenment, and we can feel frustrated with our progress on our spiritual journey. That can lead to a sense of restlessness. And in terms of educational development, it can, just make us have more of a sense of drive and motivation, and we can just feel more inclined to go after our sort of like, educational goals, and be open to challenging subjects or research ideas, getting ourselves out of our educational or learning zone. It wants us to, push our boundaries, start new projects, restart old projects, go deeper on the understanding on what you're studying, because a lot of the time we can stay on the surface and there's always something to learn, looking outside of your academic or your research area as well to get a new perspective is a good use of this energy. But negatively, it can make us make impulsive, decisions when it comes to our studies, wanting to take on too much at once, just consuming ideas and content and research, and neglecting the important aspects of our education. So yeah, as I said, explore beyond the surface, the base, but we have to learn the basics and memorize them, internalize them, so we can kind of think outside of the box and sort of thing. So yeah, explore new ideas, but also make sure that the basics as well. In terms of self-partner development, it wants us to sort of like focus on exploring the relationship with yourself, take the initiative in setting up personal goals or rethinking, changing your personal goals, making sure that they're still in alignment with what you want, develop more self-discipline and go after your self-improvement plans with passion and open-mindedness and cheerfulness, But negatively, it can sort of like make us too self-critical on ourselves and impatient in terms of, waiting for what we want to manifest, because sometimes we can be working hard day in, day out, and we can be like, oh, when is things going to manifest? But, just keep on being consistent, making sure that you are doing the right things, but also being gentle with yourself. And, success and stuff takes time, even though it looks like it comes overnight. So, it wants us to empower ourselves on the self-partner level rather than falling into self-destructive behavioural thought patterns. So yeah. So for creatives, it's a great time to explore new artistic or creative techniques and mediums. If you always work with clay, maybe working with paints, if you always write poetry and it's free form, maybe learning to write Shakespearean sonnets, that sort of thing. Maybe, taking a new workshop or online course, reading a new book, something like that. Also, working with other creatives, collaborating can also yield, exciting results. Professionals should use this time to focus on ambitious career goals, upgrading your skills, going after that promotion, but being humble with it as well, taking on leadership roles. It's a great energy to assert yourself in the workplace, pitch, innovative ideas to those in authority, to you team leader or your co-workers, and to seek out new challenges that align with your career aspirations, your career goals. Attend networking events and professional development seminars. This can be really a good use of this energy for professionals. Entrepreneurs should launch new business ventures or relaunch existing ones, or offer new products or services as well, or just refine your business strategies and seek investment opportunities and explore untapped, niche markets and stuff. Maybe, do dynamic marketing campaigns or collaborations with other entrepreneurs, and this can, bring more benefits, because sometimes we're like, we shouldn't work with others because then, it's going to take away from my abundance. But sometimes working with others, especially in the different aspects of your own personality, can bring great abundance. So alternative healers can use this time to focus on exploring unconventional healing techniques and deepening their knowledge of their existing practices, sort of like using Margie's energy in their healing sessions. So, just being more, assertive with your energy work, or in the way you sort of like give your product offering to your clients, but as well as, make sure you respect their boundaries. That's what I'm trying to say. Experiment with new healing tools or techniques, and doing this can bring breakthroughs in your own personal healing or in your clients' healing and growth as well. Lovers should use this energy to be more intense and passionate, try new things, be adventurous, deepen your emotional, psychological and spiritual connection, your bond, explore new ways of expressing your physical intimacy, and spice up routines, with adventurous activities, and be more open in your communication, bring more mutual respect and understanding and vulnerability into your relationship as well. For those who are single and self-partnered, it's good to focus on your personal growth, doing things that boost your confidence and independence, making sure that you focus on self-care and attend workshops, learn a new hobby or skill, maybe go to a retreat for self-improvement, or create one in your own home, watching lots of online videos or podcasts and stuff, like, do your own little mini day or weekend retreat, something like that. Maybe, attending online courses where you can meet new people, real life social events where you can network as well, with others that have similar interests or to you, or, you may decide to try something new. You may always have the curiosity about, I wonder what crystals, how they really work, or, I wonder if what skydiving is, something like that, just try new things. And, it's just a nice empowering energy for you to set personal goals, define your boundaries, and just nurture a stronger sense of self-love and authenticity. Okay, so just try and love on yourself and be authentic and see where this transit takes you. So thanks for listening. I'm Amani, your holistic, karmic, astrological life coach. Take care and see you next time.